It's 1982 Chicago. You've got a headache, maybe a cold. You grab a bottle of Tylenol, pop a couple of capsules, and expect relief. Instead, you're dead within hours. Not from an overdose, not from an accident. Someone laced those pills with cyanide. 7 people died this way, and the killer was never caught. This is the Tylenol Murders, a case that shattered America's trust in medicine and left us asking, how safe are the drugs we take every day? Welcome to Blackbox, where we rip open the truths they don't want you to see. Let's dive in. September 29, 1982. Mary Kellerman, a 12-year-old girl, wakes up feeling sick. She takes a Tylenol capsule and collapses on the bathroom floor. She's dead before noon. 10 miles away in Arlington Heights, 27-year-old Adam Janus takes 2 capsules for a minor ache. He dies in the hospital. That afternoon, Adam's brother Stanley and sister-in-law, Theresa, grieving his loss, take pills from the same bottle. Both collapse and die. Over the next few days, 3 more victims, including a new mother, die after taking Tylenol. The cause? Cyanide poisoning. Someone turned America's favorite painkiller into a murder weapon. Panic hits Chicago like a tidal wave. Police cars tear through neighborhoods, loudspeakers blaring. Do not take Tylenol until further notice. Stores rip bottles off shelves. Johnson & Johnson, Tylenol's parent company, recalls 31 million bottles, worth over $100 million. Tylenol, which owned 35% of the painkiller market, crashes to less than 8% in weeks. America's trust in over-the-counter medicine is in pieces. Families who lost loved ones are left grappling with grief and fear, wondering if their medicine cabinets are ticking time bombs. But here's the chilling part. Nobody knows who did it. This wasn't just murder, it was a new kind of terror. The FBI called it a new form of mass murder. Random, motiveless, and ruthless. The killer didn't know the victims. They didn't need to. They just had to slip cyanide into those capsules and get them onto store shelves. Tainted bottles were found in multiple Chicago area stores, miles apart. Each contained capsules laced with lethal doses of potassium cyanide, enough to kill in minutes. This took planning, precision, and a twisted mind. Was it a lone psychopath, a disgruntled employee, or something bigger, something inside the system? Investigators hit a wall early on. Cyanide wasn't hard to get in 1982. It was used in industrial processes and even photography labs.
At Rush Presbyterian St. Luke's Medical Center in Chicago, it's the regional poison control center for the entire Chicago area. Poison specialist Lane Olaf.
We've been receiving calls about once every 15 seconds. At Rush Presbyterian St. Luke's, we only have 3 poison lines, and they're lit up constantly, ever since yesterday morning.
Right now, they're telling people which lots of Tylenol are known to have contaminated capsules and checking to see if callers have displayed any symptoms of cyanide poisoning.
If they have it, tell them to go in the emergency room. If they don't have it...
But the precision of the tampering was staggering. Capsules were opened, filled with cyanide, and resealed with no obvious signs. The killer had to know how to handle the poison without poisoning themselves, navigate multiple stores, and leave no fingerprints. Tainted bottles turned up in suburbs like Elk Grove Village and Winfield, suggesting a calculated operation. Could one person pull this off, or was it a coordinated effort? Enter James Lewis, the prime suspect. A con man with a shadowy past, Lewis became the face of this case, but not because he was caught red-handed. In October 1982, he sent an extortion letter to Johnson & Johnson, demanding $1 million to stop the killings. He claimed he wasn't the killer, just a hustler trying to profit off the chaos. But his rap sheet told a different story. Lewis was linked to a 1978 murder case in Kansas City, where he allegedly dismembered a man, though he dodged conviction on a technicality. He wrote articles under a pseudonym, Robert Richardson, and was wanted for mail fraud. When police closed in, he vanished, only resurfacing later to taunt investigators. By 2010, the FBI had Lewis's DNA. They tested it against the tainted capsules. No match. Lewis insisted he was in New York City during the poisonings, far from Chicago. Before his death in 23, he showed how to open Tylenol's safety seals with long fingernails, hinting that tampering was easier than we think. So, was Lewis the mastermind, a convenient scapegoat, or just a fame-chasing opportunist? The truth died with him, leaving us with more questions than answers. Here's where it gets darker. What if the tampering didn't happen in stores? What if the poison capsules came straight from Johnson & Johnson's factories? Some investigators floated this theory. The cyanide could have been slipped in during production, not on a store shelf. The tainted bottles were spread across multiple locations, and the tampering was precise. Capsules were opened, filled with cyanide, and resealed without obvious signs. Could someone inside the company have been involved? Johnson & Johnson destroyed millions of capsules during the recall, potentially erasing evidence that could have cracked the case. Was that an accident or a cover-up? The societal impact was seismic. Pharmacies became crime scenes. Neighbors eyed each other with suspicion. Parents hid their medicine bottles, terrified of what might be inside. The Tylenol murders didn't just kill 7 people. They killed a sense of safety. People started questioning every pill, every bottle, every brand. Johnson & Johnson's swift response, recalling 31 million bottles and halting production, was praised as crisis management gold. But it came at a cost. Destroying those bottles meant destroying potential evidence.
Trying to check it out, but at least
Feiner, now in private practice, says it was a frustrating experience.
we did everything according to the book, then we went back and did it again, and it should have worked, except that we've never dealt with someone before, nor has anyone else that I'm aware of, that killed without an intended victim, just anyone. And that's been part of the big puzzle.
The investigation has continued. Millions of dollars, and a year later, the task force manpower stands at 10. 25,000 pages of information on the computer. And now investigators are going back to see if something was missed.
Right now, we are still optimistic. We have work to do. We have 10 of our best people involved. The FBI has five of their best. I have 5 of my best. I certainly don't believe in wasting manpower, and I'm still optimistic.
The investigation has produced 2 major characters. James Lewis is charged.
The case grew colder as the trail went quiet. The Tylenol murders changed how we buy medicine. Johnson & Johnson introduced triple-sealed, tamper-resistant packaging, those annoying plastic wraps and foil seals we wrestle with today. The FDA pushed through anti-tampering laws, and the pharmaceutical industry tightened its supply chain. Tylenol bounced back, regaining its market dominance within a year, but the scars remained. The case stayed unsolved, a haunting reminder that trust in medicine is fragile, and the question lingered, could it happen again? The Tylenol case wasn't a one-time scare. In 1986, 4 years after the Chicago murders, a woman in Yonkers died from cyanide-laced Tylenol. After the new safety seals were in place, 2 more tainted bottles were found nearby. This raised a chilling possibility. The tampering might have happened before the bottles left the factory. Was it a copycat? An insider? No one was ever charged, and the case remains unsolved. The killer, or killers, might still be out there, and our medicine cabinets are still vulnerable. Now, let's zoom out to the bigger question. How safe is the medicine we take today? The Tylenol murders exposed a brutal reality. Our trust in over-the-counter drugs hangs by a thread. Paracetamol, the active ingredient in Tylenol, is sold as a safe, go-to painkiller, but is it as harmless as they claim? A January 2025 study found that people prescribed paracetamol twice in 6 months face higher risks of serious health issues like kidney damage. Scientists say paracetamol can mix with body chemicals to form toxins that harm organs. In high doses, it's the leading cause of acute liver failure in the Western world. It gets worse. In September 2024, India's drug regulator, the CDSCO, flagged paracetamol tablets as not of standard quality in a report listing over 50 substandard drugs. Inconsistent active ingredient levels could mean the pills don't work, or worse, you're overdosing without knowing it. People often mix paracetamol with cold and flu meds, not realizing they're double dosing. A single day's worth of paracetamol, say from Tylenol and a cold remedy, can push you over the safe limit. And it's not just paracetamol. Drugs like Tylenol PM with diphenhydramine have been linked to increased dementia risk with regular use. Are we being fed a lie about safe medicine? The psychological toll of the Tylenol murders lingers. In 1982, the fear wasn't just about Tylenol, it was about the idea that any medicine could be poisoned. That fear reshaped consumer behavior. People started inspecting bottles, questioning pharmacists, and avoiding generics. Even today, the memory of those 7 deaths casts a shadow. Ex-users are asking the right questions. One post from 2025 reads, "If this is true, why is Tylenol pushed on pregnant women by doctors? The Tylenol murders showed us how vulnerable our drug supply is, and decades later, the cracks are still there." Let's talk about the industry. The pharmaceutical giants like Johnson & Johnson have a vested interest in keeping us trusting. After the murders, they spent millions on PR campaigns to rebuild Tylenol's image. They succeeded. Tylenol's market share soared again. But at what cost? Recalls still happen. In 2025, Costco pulled cold medicine off shelves over safety concerns. The CDSKO's report flagged dozens of drugs, from paracetamol to anti-diabetic meds, as substandard, and paracetamol's risks, liver damage, kidney issues, are often downplayed, even though it's pushed on everyone, from kids to pregnant women.
Prescription opioids are a type of drug used to manage pain. They include OxyContin, Vicodin, and morphine, among others. Some people might think prescription opioids are safer than alcohol or illegal drugs, but the truth is they carry serious risks and side effects. In fact, anyone can become addicted to prescription opioids, even when prescribed by a doctor.
The Tylenol murders left 7 people dead, a nation shaken, and a killer on the loose. James Lewis, the main suspect, played games with police, but no hard evidence tied him to the cyanide. Theories of a factory insider or a broader conspiracy linger, but the truth is buried, possibly by design. The pharmaceutical industry rebuilt its image after 1982, but recalls, substandard drugs, and paracetamol's hidden dangers prove we're not as safe as they want us to think. The 7 deaths in 1982 weren't just a tragedy, they were a warning we're still ignoring. The Tylenol murders aren't just a chilling 80s mystery, they're a wake-up call for today. Every pill you pop is a leap of faith in a system that's failed before. So, here's your takeaway. Check your meds. Don't mix paracetamol with other drugs without reading the label, because overdosing is easier than you think. Demand answers from an industry with a history of burying risks. Stay sharp, dig into the science, and question the narrative. Your health is on the line. What do you think? Is our medicine as safe as they claim? Have you ever doubted the drugs in your cabinet? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and join the Blackbox.